is up, guys? OddEYES Lumia here, and I just gotta tell you, we are getting so close to that 500 sub giveaway that I upped the ante a bit. So not only will you receive those Pulsemon sleeves, chance at the Agumon Gabumon sleeves, chance at the Machinedramon Machine Supremacy sleeves. I got my hands on this beautiful stack right here in the giveaway as well. That means instead of 3 winners, we will have 4 winners. So once again, guys, share my videos, get my name out there. I appreciate everyone who watches my channel and supports my content and enjoys my content. These sleeves are sick. 500 sub giveaway. Tell your friends, share, subscribe.
What is up, guys? OddEYES Lumia here today, and I have a sweet little deck feature for your viewing pleasure. I recently went X1 with Red Hybrid, and yes, I am running the Ancient Greymon package. I've heard that you don't need it, but I had the card, so there's really no reason I shouldn't run it. It's very explosive, very fun deck, but it does have its issues with breaking, I noticed. So we're going to go over the tamers first, and then the eggs. Well, tamers and options, and then the eggs, because this app's a little weird like that. So I do apologize ahead of time. So we run 4 of Takuya. Takuya is the main tamer of the deck. He is how you warp Digivolve into EmperorGreymon, or combine Spirit Evolution into EmperorGreymon to be able to swing in for game and or just put pressure on the board. A really cool interaction, because Bandai does resolution rather than checking the field in the beginning, is you can stack 5 hybrids underneath this and not evolve into EmperorGreymon. There was a situation where I evolved into an Agunimon and then into an Aldamon and evolved up into Ancient Greymon for a cost of possibly 1 or 0, depending on how many Agunimon promos you have in your trash. Very cool interaction. So we run 4 of him. He is the cheapest tamer in the deck other than Analog Youth, and he is what facilitates the combo. Then we have 2 Tai, Kamiya. He is the main memory tamer of the deck. I've seen a lot of people run Marcus, and I do run 1 Marcus because of the interaction between EmperorGreymon, but I will go into that more as I get onto Marcus. At the beginning of your turn, when you have 2 or less memory, make it 3. During your turn, all your red Digimon with 4 or more evolution sources get a security attack +1. When you do go into EmperorGreymon with Takuya, you will have more than 4 sources, so getting that extra security attack is nice, especially if it's not going in for game, but you are putting pressure on your opponent. Then we run the 1 Marcus. At the start of your turn, if your memory is 2 or less, set your memory to 3. Your turn, when your Digimon with Greymon in its name attacks, suspend this tamer to gain 1 memory. Keep in mind, because I've noticed a lot of people running this and playing it wrong, you cannot attack with a Agunimon and activate Marcus. You have to have a full Greymon line and or going to EmperorGreymon to swing and gain that extra memory, because Agunimon's the one attacking when you trigger that effect, not Greymon. So keep that in mind. Then we have 2 Analog Youth. This is such a broken card in this deck. Because of your running the Ancient Greymon line, you're able to, when Ancient Greymon deletes himself at the end of the turn, you're able to gain back a memory and rehatch, so you can set up for following turns, maybe an additional Ancient Greymon, so like evolve into a rookie, into a Agunimon, and set up for another Ancient Greymon. It's also one of the only ways you can get Ancient Greymon into your hand other than Bokomon. And yeah, this card is just insane. It doesn't stop you. It doesn't end your turn. There was many times when I was put my opponent at 1 swinging with a Agunimon, and then it would die at the end of the turn with the Ancient Greymon effect. I would be able to trigger Analog Youth, not in my turn, gain a memory, rehatch, and then be able to work my breeding area, and then go into an Greymon or whatever. Another nice thing is you can also evolve, say, your Greymon just regular or your Burning Greymon on one of your tamers if you were trying to end your turn. So you can trigger Ancient Greymon, so you go to 1 and then go back to 0 and then have an additional attacker for the turn, which sometimes would be game. As you guys saw in my Agubond Ancient Bond list, there was a lot of like spicy combo between that and also my Ancient Garurumon list. So if you guys haven't checked that out, go check that out on my channel. Very cool interaction. Analog Youth is such a cool card. Only thing I don't like is it's not red, so it is a little difficult, and you don't play like the green hybrid or yellow hybrid or anything like that. You're mainly, it's a very interesting interaction. Then we run 2 Gaia Force, destroy one of your opponent's Digimon. It's self-explanatory, it's Gaia Force. So yeah, having options that can kill things is kind of important, especially in this format where you're dealing with the hybrid bond lists. Like, I went against Green Hybrid Bond in my last match, and he ran into a Gaia Force when he was Ancient Troymon, and it killed it, and I won that game. And Gaia Force is just too good not to run. I've seen a lot of people running Atomic Blaster as a 2-of, and no Gaia Force, and it's on them, but I personally think that this card's too good not to run. Cost is a little high, but sometimes it's worth it. We run 1 Atomic Blaster, delete any of your opponent's Digimon with total D 8,000 or less, and yeah, self-explanatory. If your opponent's going wide, this is going to really hurt their day. Then we go into our eggs. We are running 4 Demi-Meramon. I won't lie, playing this deck this weekend, there were so many times I wanted my Capurymon over Demi-Meramon. But this does give me additional 1000 DP without the tamer, so that's why I chose to run it. But I won't lie, Capurymon is just so good in certain interactions, and I'll explain that as I go through the cards. 1 Capurymon, while you have a tamer in play, this Digimon gets 1000 DP. Alright, we run 4 of the BT4 Flamemon. On play, reveal top 3 cards of your deck, add a hybrid form Digimon and a red tamer from among them to your hand. Put the others on the bottom of your deck in any order. Hitting an Analog Youth off of this sucks. It's not really the greatest, but it's better than the BT7 Flamemon in a sense. So we run 4 of it, and we want to max out on our Flamemons because hybrids are important. Then we run 4 of the BT7 Flamemon. It's the worst one out of the 2, obviously, but it does have that sweet on deletion effect, which honestly can be game at times, which is freaking sweet. Reveal the top card of your deck, add 1 card with hybrid in its traits, Susanoo or Takuya Kanabara from among them, and put them in your hand. Put the remaining cards on the bottom of the deck in any order. On deletion, play 1 Takuya Kanabara from your hand without paying its memory cost. A really cool interaction with this is going to a Greymon promo with this on top. Swinging Face at the end of the turn deletes itself, so you get a free tamer and a free level 4 off of the deletion effect of Ancient Greymon. So do keep that in mind. Very, very cool interaction. And then we run 4 of the Piercing Flamemon, and this is where I'm going to go into the situation with Capurymon. Multiple situations when I was playing this weekend was I wanted to swing my Ancient Greymon into the rested Digimon for that piercing. Well, I was running into issues with running into the higher Ancient Digimon, like from hybrid, from Green Hybrid mainly, and running into Green Hybrid, they're both 13k, so there was a turn, sadly, that I just traded my Ancient Greymon into their Ancient Beetlemon because it was putting pressure on me, and I didn't get the piercing, which really felt bad. So that's why I've really thought about just upping the count on Capurymon and leaving the Demi-Meramon, because there's enough tamers in the deck, you're going to see tamers. Analog Youth will never evolve, So if you're playing Analog Youth early, you're going to have a tamer. So I've definitely thought about moving to Greymon. But while this Digimon has hybrids, forms, or 10 warriors in its type, it gains piercing. When this Digimon attacks and deletes an opponent's Digimon and survives the battle, it performs any security check it normally would. So good. So good. That 4 cost does suck, but there's interactions where choking your opponent's memory is nice when they leave you at 3 or something and you don't have really much to play. I noticed with this deck, you do run into situations like that where you don't have the level 4 or level 5 to go into off of like a Takuya or anything like that. And so leaving your opponent at 1 memory is nice sometimes, and that 4 cost does come up. So 4 of them. Bokomon. Bokomon's technically a rookie. Bokomon, on play, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, add 1 card with hybrid or 10 warriors in its traits, add 1 tamer card among them to your hand, place the remaining cards of your bottom in any deck. This is the best starter in the deck. So freaking good, and then your turn once per turn when one of your tamers digivolves, gain 2 memory. It makes your level 4s free, which is just nuts. Like, being able to digivolve your tamers from your level 4s, it makes them free, which is so freaking good. It is the best starter in the deck. I will usually mulligan to try and get this card in my hand if it's not in my opening hand, because the plays are so detrimental with this card. So do keep that in mind. Like, if you can and you're playing the mulligan rule, because our shop is, try a mulligan to Bokomon, even if your hand is nuts, because like my final matchup against the green hybrid deck was, my opening hand was 2 EmperorGreymon and I only run 3, and it felt really bad to bottom those, but I still won that match because of Bokomon. So do keep that in mind. And we'll go to our champions. We're running for a Digimon promo. You can digivolve into this card into Ancient Greymon in your hand for a memory cost of 2. Ignoring that the card's Digivolution card's requirements at the end of the turn, delete this Digimon. And then inherited effect, when you digivolve into your Ancient Greymon, reduce the Digivolution cost by 2. That's what I was saying with the Takuya, as if you have a few of these in the graveyard, you know, you trashed them with Analog Youth or something like that, you can put those under Takuya and go like a Gunimon regular, like vanilla Gunimon, into Aldemon, into Ancient Greymon for a cost of 3, which is nuts. Nuts. Or even cheaper. Like, it could honestly even be for a cost of 1. You could choke out your opponent, or you could, it doesn't come up very often, but it does happen. Or you could, say you ended up with 3 of these in your trash by some freaking miracle and whatnot, and you put them all under Takuya, then you could go a Gunimon into Aldemon and go into Ancient Greymon for free and swing 5 security checks with no option activations, which is nuts. So do keep that in mind. We're running 4 Burning Greymon, because if you're not running 4 Burning Greymon, I'm just going to say this right now, you are playing the deck wrong. This card is so freaking good. It does suck, we only have the 4 Takuyas, so it does have to evolve on a Takuya, but becoming an 8k level 4, it can beat over most level 4s, which is super nice, because the Takuya's inheritable effect. And then you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP or less. This kills Bokomon. Your opponent is going to be playing Bokomon. You need to kill their Bokomon. If you don't kill their Bokomon, they're going to go so far ahead on you, you're going to see your head spin. So do keep that in mind. Burning Greymon is a 4 of. I'm just saying, it is a 4 of. Even at 4, I didn't see this card as much as I wish I would have. But it is a 4 of. Then we run 3 of the vanilla Gunimon. It's just because it can evolve off tamers. That is the main thing, and is a cost of 2. So if you do need to evolve it in your main area, you can, but it's mainly because you need to evolve off tamers. And being able to get those big swings in and then check for a Digimon for game is important. So I run 3. I've seen a lot of decks run 2. I just feel 3 is more consistent, and I want to see it more mid game. This deck will usually win turn 2 to turn 3, depending on your setup. It is the nuts. Then we go into our level 5s. We are only running 4 Aldemon from BT7. I'll be honest, I played the deck with more ultimates and it just didn't feel good. Like, I saw the ultimates too much, they were bricking. With 4 Aldemon, I still saw Aldemon a freaking ton. And if I didn't see him in my opening hand, then it was searched off my hybrids super easy. So 4 is honestly super good. This deck is really just a champion rush similar deck, similar to when we were playing like Agumon and stuff like that. You don't need a lot of ultimates. You do want this ultimate because of that sweet inheritable ability. Your turn, while this Digimon has hybrid or 10 warriors in its traits, it doesn't activate security effects on option cards it checks, which is super nice because it sets up your Ancient Greymon to swing 5 checks. Literally, your opponent's just going to fall on their face. Or your EmperorGreymon when you go to Kuya shenanigans. But do also keep in mind, which is super nice, is when your Digimon with a Tamer card and its digivolves into this card from your hand, reduces memory cost by 2. That means this is an ultimate that is a 1 cost to digivolve. That is so freaking good. Oh my lord. Or you can just cost 3 to digivolve in your raising. That's mainly where you're going to do it. When digivolving and discarding this hybrid in its traits as the Digimon's Digivolution cards, this Digimon gets plus 4000 DP. That is a 12k level 5 that can run over most other level 5s in the format. Aldemon is a 4 of in this deck, hands down. I was running a Rise Greymon Aldemon package. Rise Greymon was too slow, and you don't want to be slow in this format, because if you run against another red hybrid or green hybrid, you are going to fall on your face. So do keep that in mind. Then we go into our level 6s. We're running 4 Ancient Greymon. Sorry guys, this deck is not budget. If you have your Ancient Greymons, woohoo, I'm glad for you. If you don't have your Ancient Greymons, I'm sorry, but it kind of needs it. You can obviously build this deck and play this deck without Ancient Greymon and the Agumon promo. It's just not nearly as good. And there are a lot of other deck profiles on YouTube that have the more budget option. But your turn, for each Digimon card in this Digivolution card with Greymon in its name or hybrid in its form, this Digimon gains security attack +1. You can send 5 checks with an Aldemon under this, off the 2 Kuya combo that I was talking about, and they don't do anything. And then you swing game. It's so freaking good. And then on deletion, you may play 1 level 4 lower from your with hybrid in its cost from your hand without paying its memory cost. Which is really cool because you can drop the Agumon promo if you have another one in hand, if you want to set up another Ancient Grey for the next turn to sit up 2 checks, and then just Aguni for game, or Burning Greymon for game. This card is so freaking good. I absolutely love this card. And then guys, last but not least, we are running 3 EmperorGreymon. EmperorGreymon is just he is the finisher in this deck. You don't necessarily go into him unless you want to put pressure on your opponent. I usually go into EmperorGreymon last. He's like my Blitz Aguni for game. That's how I run him, and that's why I only run 3, because I don't want to see him in the beginning. I want to see him in more towards the end of the game. So, when Digivolve, this Digimon can attack when it has 1 or more memory. So, your opponent has 1 or more memory. So, Blitz, your turn, once per turn, when this Digimon is blocked, unsuspend it, and gain 1 memory for each Digivolution card in this has in hybrids and in its traits. Your opponent's not going to block this unless they have like a memory blocker on board. That's the only reason they would block this, but then it still unsuspends. So the only way your opponent's really going to go get around EmperorGreymon is if they have 2 blockers and a memory blocker. And if they have that, oof, then that's just bad luck for you. But EmperorGreymon is the finisher of the deck, and that is why we had built him this way. Alright guys, so we are going to go over my sideboard, because we did play a sideboard rule in our shop, so stay tuned for that. Alright guys, we are going over the sideboard options for the Emperor Hybrid Bond deck. We are running 1 Gaia Force. Like I said, just really nice to have that deletion and putting those in to lock out your opponent from killing you for that turn, which is super nice. So 1 Gaia Force, running one more Atomic Blaster. Once again, if your opponent's just going wide, it's just a really nice card to knock out that board of theirs with being able to choose any number of Digimon with 8,000 DP or less, up to 8,000 DP or less. It's just too good not to, and for 5 cost is amazing. We're running one Tai Kamiya. This is mainly for the mirror match because all your Digimon get plus 1,000 DP, so it sets up nicely when your opponent is got an EmperorGreymon out that they're pushing damage for, and you are about to go Ancient Bond. You go Ancient Bond into their Emperor Grey, you kill their Emperor Grey, and do 3 security checks, which is super nice. Or EmperorGreymon into their EmperorGreymon, vice versa. Like, it's just really nice to still have this. It's also really nice in the green hybrid matchup because all your Digimon are going to be bigger. So this was kind of like my lich pin when it came to dealing with higher cost DP if I didn't have Greymon. So I run one Tai Kamiya, and I actually did see it. And it's also a 2 cost, which is nice because you can choke your opponent with it, and it can Digivolve. So you can go into a Gunimon or Burning Greymon, so it's super nice. Then we run 3 Gaussmon because if you're playing this format, you need Gaussmon. Red is probably shafted among the most when it comes to tamers and Digimon that can't really interact with your opponent, like the memory negators and the Digivolution costs. So this is your only Digivolution cost. Which is super nice about this is it also gives 3,000 DP to all your other Gaussmon, so they can build a board kind of fast, which is kind of nuts. Really cool idea is that green-red hybrid deck that's running around, that's running 4 of these, and then the Greymon package. I really think that's a really cool idea. But your opponent can't reduce Digivolution costs, which really shuts down a lot of the hybrid decks. It's very hard for them to gain as much value as they do without this card. So running 3 of these is kind of like mandatory. I wanted to run 4, but I just didn't have room because I saw other options. And then finally, we are running 4 Mechanorimon. I know, people are saying blockers aren't really good this format, but I beg to differ. Mechanorimon can flat shut down a hybrid deck that is not seeing their level 4s. They're like chipping security, it doesn't matter because you're just eating them alive. The thing that does suck is Mechanori is only 6k and most level 4s this format are 6k. So do be careful when blocking. You know, if they're going to chip in the damage with a level 4, that's fine. They might just die to your security. But keep this in mind, this is mainly for like rookie rush variants and or, you know, if they brick. Mechanori is just a really good blocker in general, so I don't see why not. And it's a 4 cost, which is really not that bad to hard play. So yeah, guys, that's my sideboard. Now we're going to go into some budget options since, you know, not everyone can afford Ancient Greymons and or don't want to buy Ancient Greymons in the Agunimon promos, so stand by for that. Guys, so these are our budget options, I feel, for this really cool deck. So Agumon didn't die, just so you know. I played Ancient Bond very well last format, and using the hybrid package and Agumons, it really wasn't all that bad. So you can actually still play Agumon with this deck, and a lot of decks in Japan have ran the Agumon package. So do keep that in mind. This card is very much still a threat if you don't have prices for the Ancient Greymons, but you have some Agumons laying around and you want to mess with that. Your rookie line is going to be more Agumon based, but you will get the you can still use some of the better hybrids. I would recommend the BT4 hybrid package and the Takuya hybrid package for the Agumons if you're going to go the Agumon route, because the BT4 can add a Tai Kamiya off of it too and your hybrids. I ran it as a 4 of last format and it was absolutely fantastic. So do keep that in mind. You can do that, which is really cool. And instead of running, you know, you run a little higher tamer count, you can run the Takuyas and the Tai Kamiyas, or you can run this as like a 3 of and use EmperorGreymon as a 4 of. So do keep that in mind. You can just go flat rush. I don't run Atomic Inferno just because I couldn't find room for it. I'd rather have answers like with Gaia Force and Atomic Blaster that I didn't really want Atomic Inferno, but I will be honest, Atomic Inferno would have been freaking nice in certain situations. and I have definitely thought about adding it in. You can run the Atomic Inferno package, and also an attendant security. It just makes all your Digimon security attack +1 the next turn, which is kind of terrifying. So that's a really cool budget option. If you do go more budget, obviously you're going to want to put these in instead of the other Goonimon. It does suck that it's a cost of 3, but your turn it does get plus 3000 DP. And if this is evolved on, say, a Takuya, it gets plus 2000 DP plus another 3000 DP. That's an 11k. It's a security attack 2 because of Takuya is inheritable, so do keep that in mind. And then obviously if you're going to go the more Agumon variant, this Greymon is still really freaking good as a early checker to close out the game early. So those are my budget options. Please let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this video. I'm trying to do a little different because now we got the sideboard shenanigans. If you are doing sideboards and mulligans, then I want to obviously give you guys some sideboard options. I want to start adding some budget options because not everyone can afford some of these high price cards. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like this video, share with your friends, and keep an eye out for that giveaway because we are so close. We're, I think, like 75 away from that giveaway. So share this with your friends, get my name out there, and I will see you next time. OddEYES, Lumia out.